Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we've got a story that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's wild.
It sounds like it's straight out of like a sitcom or something.
Oh, totally.
So yeah, buckle up because we're going to be unpacking a story about in-laws' revenge and a birthday party
Oh my gosh.
gone very wrong.
This is gonna be good.
So it's really like this classic clash of cultures and expectations.
Right.
A scenario that honestly is probably way more relatable
Oh yeah, for sure.
than we would like to admit.
I think so.
So our story starts in 2022
Okay.
with a woman named Phiona,
Okay.
and she marries into this wealthy family.
Okay.
But her background is
Uh-huh.
worlds apart from her new in-laws' like polished world.
Gotcha.
And they don't exactly hide their disapproval
Oh no, they do not.
of her.
Right.
Yeah.
So the sources we've got here paint a pretty clear picture of their disdain for her.
Oh, wow.
They use these subtle, dig-snide comments to undermine her, like at every turn. It's almost like they're trying to mold her into this predetermined image of the perfect daughter-in-law.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I bet that was incredibly difficult for her.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
You have to wonder about the psychological impact of just constantly being told implicitly or explicitly that you're not good enough.
Right.
Research actually shows that this kind of social exclusion can trigger the same pain pathways in the brain as physical pain.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So she's facing this constant negativity,
Uh-huh.
and then things get even worse
Oh, no.
when Fiona gets pregnant.
Okay.
The in-laws, it seems, were absolutely convinced that they were getting a grandson.
Of course they were.
And when a baby girl arrives,
Uh-oh.
the sources we've got suggest that their disappointment was just palpable.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
It's almost like they blamed Fiona for not delivering the heir
Right.
that they were craving.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, it's not like she had any control over that.
Exactly.
But this really highlights a much deeper issue, right?
Yes,
This like ingrained societal preference for sons,
Mhm.
especially in certain cultures.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's like this rich history behind this preference,
Mm.
often tied to inheritance laws, family lineage, and even cultural beliefs about gender roles.
Yeah.
In some societies, sons are seen as the carriers of the family name and the ones responsible for caring for their parents in old age.
Right.
This can create immense pressure on women to produce male offspring.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that these like outdated ideas still hold so much sway in some families.
Oh, for sure.
But let's get back to Fiona.
Okay.
Despite all of this pressure and negativity, she manages to keep this incredible patience, at least on the surface,
Right.
until
Dun, dun, dun.
we reach the turning point of this story.
Okay.
Exactly. Fast forward to 2023, and it's baby girl's first birthday. Fiona decides to throw this massive party,
Okay.
inviting the whole extended family. Like, we're talking 20 to 30 people.
That's a lot of people.
She goes all out, food decorations, the works. It seems like she's trying to win them over with kindness.
Right. It could be interpreted that way.
Right.
Maybe she's hoping to smooth over past tensions or even like demonstrate her capabilities as a wife and mother.
Yeah.
You know?
But here's where things take a sharp turn.
Okay.
Remember that lavish spread she prepared?
Uh-huh.
Well, Fiona secretly added a special ingredient to every single dish.
Oh.
Dulcolax.
Oh, way.
And not just like a little sprinkle.
Oh, my God.
We're talking a full-on dose.
Wow. What do you make of that?
I don't even know where to begin.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
On the surface, it seems like a simple act of revenge, a way to just inflict discomfort on those who have wronged her.
Right.
But if we dig a little deeper, there might be more at play here.
Okay, I'm all ears. What else could be going on?
I think it's more than just revenge.
Okay.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Fiona has been subjected to, like, months of subtle jabs and criticisms.
Mm-hmm.
She's been made to feel like an outsider
All right.
in her own family.
Yeah.
So this party,
Yeah.
with its carefully curated guest list and this lavish spread,
Uh-huh.
this could be her way of taking back control,
Oh, okay.
of finally asserting her power.
Interesting. So you're saying she's using this party
Hmm.
as like a stage
Yeah.
to expose her in-laws' hypocrisy.
Yeah, and to show everyone the kind of people they really are.
Wow. And the Dulcolax.
Right.
That's not just about causing physical discomfort.
No, it's totally symbolic.
Oh, okay.
It's a way of turning their own judgment against them.
Okay.
Because think about it, they've been obsessed with appearances,
Yeah.
with maintaining this, like, facade of the perfect family life.
Right.
Yeah.
So by like creating this chaotic, embarrassing situation,
Yeah,
she's ripping away that facade
exactly.
and exposing the messy reality underneath.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant, albeit somewhat devious,
Yeah,
way of turning the tables.
totally.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the people who have been judging and criticizing her are reduced to their most basic, vulnerable selves.
Right? They're literally at her mercy,
Wow.
begging for relief.
So how does Fiona react to all of this?
According to the sources, she remains perfectly calm
Really?
throughout the whole ordeal.
No way.
She doesn't gloat,
Wow.
doesn't scold or anything. She simply observes the chaos she's created with a sense of detached amusement.
That's incredible. Talk about a power move. This entire situation really makes you think.
Yeah.
What does it say about the limits of patience? At what point does enduring negativity become detrimental to our well-being?
That's a great question. And there's no easy answer.
Right.
But Fiona's story definitely challenges us to consider our own responses to difficult situations.
Yeah.
You know, we often hear about the importance of communication, of setting boundaries, but what happens when those approaches fail?
Is there ever a point where like a more dramatic, even like unconventional approach is justified?
It's a tricky question.
Yeah.
It depends on the specific circumstances. But I think Fiona's story highlights the importance of recognizing our own needs and limits.
Okay.
Sometimes we need to shake things up,
Yeah.
disrupt the status quo in order to reclaim our power and our agency.
Okay, but let's be real. While this whole scenario is pretty entertaining,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine a happy ending here, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
this probably created even more tension within the family.
It's highly likely that Fiona's actions had significant repercussions.
Yeah.
While they might have provided her with like temporary satisfaction,
Right.
they probably didn't lead to any meaningful resolution of the underlying issues.
In fact, it might have made things even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the paradox of revenge, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It offers this fleeting sense of vindication,
Mm-hmm.
but rarely leads to genuine healing or lasting peace.
So what are we left with? Is Fiona's story a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of revenge? Or is there a glimmer of inspiration in her bold, albeit unconventional stand against her in-laws?
I think it's open to interpretation. Some might see it as a warning against taking matters into our own hands,
Right.
while others might view it as a testament to the power of pushing back against injustice.
Yeah. It's certainly a story that stays with you, makes you question your own assumptions about family dynamics and the complex ways we navigate power and control within those relationships.
Totally.
But before we delve further into those broader implications,
Okay.
let's pause for a moment
Yeah.
and consider another fascinating layer to the story,
Sure.
the role of social expectations.
Okay.
Remember how we discussed the societal pressure on women to produce sons?
Yes, that's a crucial element that deserves further exploration.
Right. It seems like Fiona was caught in the crosshairs of these expectations, facing judgment not only for her background, but also for the gender of her child.
And that kind of pressure can be incredibly isolating and emotionally damaging.
Right.
It's important to remember that these expectations are often deeply ingrained, passed down through generations, and can be incredibly difficult to challenge.
So how do we even begin to unpack this? How do we navigate these complex social dynamics without resorting to extreme measures like Fiona's laxative-laced revenge?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And we'll explore some potential answers in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll examine the research on family dynamics,
Okay.
conflict resolution, and the importance of setting healthy boundaries.
So we're back, and I'm still thinking about those deeply ingrained social expectations we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It feels like Fiona was just caught in this web that was almost impossible to escape.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
These expectations can feel incredibly constricting, almost like invisible bars
Right.
that limit our choices and define who we're supposed to be.
And in Fiona's case, it seems like she was being judged for everything.
Yeah.
Like her background, her ability to fit into this wealthy family, and even the gender of her child.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's no wonder she felt the need to lash out.
No, absolutely.
Man.
When we feel trapped and powerless, it's natural to seek ways to reclaim some control.
Right, but as we've seen, those attempts can sometimes backfire,
Yeah,
leading to even more conflict and pain.
for sure.
So where do we go from here? If we're facing similar pressures, how can we break free from these expectations without resorting to, laxatives?
Well, the first step is awareness.
Okay.
Recognizing those expectations for what they are. External pressures that don't define our worth or determine our happiness.
Okay.
It's about reclaiming our own narrative and defining success on our own terms.
That sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do that?
Right.
It's easy to say, don't let those expectations get to you, but it's much harder to put that into practice,
Yeah,
especially when those expectations are coming from people we love and care about.
you're absolutely right. It's a process that requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to set healthy boundaries.
Okay.
And sometimes those boundaries might involve difficult conversations, asserting our needs, and even distancing ourselves from those who just refuse to respect our choices.
So it's about finding that balance between honoring our own needs and maintaining those relationships.
Exactly. It's not always about severing ties completely,
Okay.
but rather about creating a space where we can be our authentic selves without fear of judgment or reprisal.
And that might look different for everyone.
Absolutely. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
For some, it might involve directly confronting those expectations,
Okay.
having those tough conversations and advocating for their own values.
Mm-hmm.
For others, it might mean creating some emotional distance, choosing not to engage in those dynamics that are harmful to their well-being.
Fiona's story really throws all of this into sharp relief.
Yes.
It shows just how tangled these family dynamics can become,
Uh-huh.
especially when you add in societal expectations and power imbalances.
It really does. And it highlights the importance of self-care.
Okay.
In the midst of all this chaos,
Yeah.
it's crucial to prioritize our own mental and emotional well-being.
Finding healthy coping mechanisms, building a support system outside of the family, and seeking professional guidance if needed.
That's such an important point. It's easy to get so caught up in these family dramas that we forget to take care of ourselves.
Exactly. And remember, you are not alone in this.
Yeah,
These challenges are more common than we might think.
right.
There are resources available,
Yeah.
communities of support and professionals who can help you navigate these complexities.
Fiona's story, as wild as it is, has really given us a lot to think about.
It really has.
It's a reminder that even in the most seemingly perfect families,
Right.
there are often hidden battles being fought, expectations that weigh us down, and a constant negotiation of power and control.
And ultimately, it's a story about resilience, about finding ways to assert ourselves, to find our own paths, and create a life that feels authentic and fulfilling, even amidst the chaos. Well said. So if you're out there dealing with difficult in-laws, feeling the pressure of societal expectations, or just navigating the complexities of family life, know that you have the power to choose your own path to define your own happiness. And remember, sometimes a little bit of self-awareness and a healthy dose of boundary setting can go a long way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of the human experience.